Now on Nightside, in just a little over a week, you'll be voting for a variety of offices. Election security remains a top concern. What's being done to secure your ballot?
The rain is picking up around the Spokane area tonight. I'll tell you about a soggy Tuesday and a very busy week for weather in the forecast.
And all COVID-19 emergency orders ended today. What that means for people in Washington and what comes next.
You're watching 4 News Now Nightside. Thanks for staying up with us, and happy Halloween. I'm Aaron Luna.
I'm Kirsten O'Connor. It has been a happy Halloween.
Tonight on 4 News Now, what you need to know about voting in your local election. The Spokane County Elections Office is now working with $42,000 worth of new security surveillance cameras to make sure your vote is secure. The surveillance system comes from the Help America Vote Act. Spokane County was awarded nearly $400,000 in total to be spent through 2024. These cameras are motion detecting. They record, they do not stream. And Spokane County elections officials tell us the cameras will not record confidential voter information like email addresses, signatures, and votes.
We had a grant, so we upgraded to include all access points to that and the recording of them. So we didn't have to put tapes in or do that, so we can actually have the retention period for these cameras.
Elections officials say the system was turned on mid-October to start the process of ballots for the upcoming general election. As voters turn out to cast their ballots, election integrity is a top concern for some, now more than ever.
Local leaders explain why they're confident your vote is secure. Today, we spoke with Kootenai County Commissioner Chris Filios. He tells us the process they use gives our best shot at an accurate result. This involves a machine count of 3 separate ballots through 3 separate machines. The idea and objective being that the results should come out the same with all 3. He says it's highly reliable, and they've been doing this for quite some time, long before the 2020 election security was believed to be an issue. He says the most important part of the whole equation is our community.
The public having confidence in the fact that their elections are secure. Okay. Once you lose that confidence, and then eventually that leads to a potential loss of confidence in democratic institutions, and then when that happens, the country is ripe for civil strife.
The integrity of the process is crucial, and Filios says machine counting is far superior to manual counts, and voters at this election office that we went to were given the space and privacy they needed to cast their votes.
The race to the finish is on with just 8 days left until elections. Politicians from both sides are pushing hard for their parties.
Out and vote up and down the slate. Vote for Republicans, good, great Republicans.
Just about every Republican politician seems obsessed with 2 things: owning the libs and getting Donald Trump's approval. That's their agenda. It's not long, it's not complicated. And at least to me, it's not very inspiring.
Whether the scales of Congress tip towards red or blue will be determined by 4 key states. According to polls from the New York Times and Siena College, those states are Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. Millions of voters have already voted as early candidates take part in their final debates before that big day.
Well, we are 8 days away from Election Day, and the race for U.S. Senator is very close right now. Tiffany Smiley and Patty Murray continue to battle for a seat in D.C., and the implications of the race cannot be overstated, especially as some polls are showing Tiffany Smiley closing the gap. After answering voter questions during Sunday's town hall, both candidates still have money to spend and are looking to make the most of the final 8 days to get voters in their corner. In the past week, Smiley has released 3 new ads targeting Murray for rising prices and increased crime.
Now, record rapes, carjacking, murders, and overdoses plague our communities. Who's to blame? Patty Murray.
Murray has fired back with ads of her own.
Give them their chance. Oppose Tiffany Smiley before it's too late.
And according to Open Secrets, Smiley has spent just under $15 million during this campaign. Incumbent Senator Murray over $20 million. And it's likely we will see more advertisements trying to sway undecided voters into their corners. Some breaking news now about a missing child tonight. Police are searching for this 11-year-old boy who was last seen leaving his school, Francis Scott Elementary, around 3 p.m. Jaden Borquin was last seen wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, black shoes, and a backpack. He is about 4'9". He weighs about 120 pounds. If you have any information about where Jaden is, call Crime Check at the number on your screen, 509-456-2233, or call 911 and keep him in sight until police arrive.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee lifted all COVID-19 emergency orders today. Inslee says ending the order does not mean that he's taking the pandemic less seriously and that the state will continue the commitment to the public's well-being, just using different tools. Health leaders continue to say vaccines and masks are important. COVID-19 is still one of the deadliest viruses in the U.S., killing more than 300 people every day, including more than 10 people a day in Washington. The mask mandate will remain in place for healthcare and long-term care settings and correctional facilities. Healthcare and education workers will no longer be required by law to get vaccinated, but employers can still require them if they choose. Vaccination will remain a condition of employment for Washington state agencies.
A coven of witches took to the Spokane River for some stand-up paddleboard action this afternoon.
We just want to get out on our paddleboards and have a little witchy magic on Halloween this year. So we're three sisters.
Aha, that works very well. Three sisters in real life. And of course, they dressed up as the Sanderson sisters from the popular Halloween movie Hocus Pocus. And of course, this week, or not this week, but this year, there's a Hocus Pocus 2, a sequel. So It's very popular tonight. They paddleboarded from downtown Spokane to No Lie Brewery just after lunchtime. And the sisters tell us their paddles make for good broomsticks. They plan to paddleboard on flat water, hoping not to get wet. We wouldn't want them to melt, would we? I did see a lot of the Sanderson sisters tonight.
Of course,
while trick-or-treating. But on those paddleboards, that's a little chilly.
Brave.
I don't know.
That's brave. You can't just hop on your paddle and fly to the side. You're going to swim for a little bit. Chris is here to tell us what we can expect for tomorrow and the rest of the week. We've got some really interesting weather coming up.
Oh, we do, and I will be getting into that later in the broadcast. A significant storm we're tracking for later in the week. But let's talk about Tuesday and the wet weather on the way. We're zoomed in on radar right now, and Spokane is right in this little area of dry weather where we have rain elsewhere around the region. Hopefully your trick-or-treaters stay dry. We had a few sprinkles in my neighborhood, but didn't amount to much. Satellite and radar shows a broader view of some of the heavier precipitation over the Palouse. I know it was a soggy trick-or-treat in Moscow and Pullman, Rosalia. We are going to continue to see this rain moving to the north and into the Spokane region overnight tonight. Wind gusts around the region, still breezy in Spokane and Spokane Valley with gusts in excess of 20 miles per hour. Those winds will die down overnight. Expect a calmer day on the way tomorrow. Temperatures today were about 5 degrees above average. We're going to have a 10-degree drop in temperatures for tomorrow. It's 47 right now in Spokane, 47 degrees in Coeur d'Alene after highs today in the 50s. It's still in the 50s in Spokane Valley, 9 Mile and Meade. We have certainly had colder Halloween evenings, that is for sure. Again, it is going to be colder tomorrow and the wet weather will continue. Steady rains in the morning, showers throughout the afternoon, a high temperature of only 43 degrees. I will be back with your 7-day forecast, tell you about that storm on the way and the possibility of snow. That's in the forecast as well. It's coming up in a minute. Aaron?
Thank you, Chris. The wet weather has delayed construction on North Monroe. They're laying asphalt, but the sticky material underneath the asphalt does not take when it's wet. Spokane Public Works Department says the current plan is to work on the west side lane starting tomorrow. Then it will take another week to complete the final steps. The project is now expected to be completed sometime between November 9th and the 11th.
And Gonzaga basketball has its first home game this week. Fans will see this year's Zags for the first time on Wednesday. The first game was on pay-per-view, so if you paid the $9.99 for Gonzaga's pay-per-view matchup against Tennessee last week, Good news is proceeds went to a good cause. Bad news, you probably didn't expect Gonzaga to lose by 18 points, but it was just an exhibition, so think of this week as a clean slate. The Bulldogs host Warner Pacific in an exhibition game at home on Wednesday. It's the first of 2 games at home before getting into the meat of the non-conference schedule against Michigan State, Texas, and Kentucky. It'll also be a chance for the Zags to clean up those mistakes that haunted them in the loss to Tennessee last week.
This is my 4th year here. You know, I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm really excited to play all these teams, especially Kentucky and Spokane. Like, that's just one of my dreams, so I'm super excited.
Just getting these guys in order, you know, getting them suited up and ready for the big schedule this year, you know, it just means the world to me, you know. Learning from the older guys last year, being able to sit back and really, you know, watch and gain knowledge, you know, that's pretty much my whole intention was, so I'm ready to go.
And tip-off between Gonzaga and Warner Pacific is scheduled for 6 o'clock Wednesday from McCarthy Athletic Center, and we will have live coverage right here on 4 News Now, guys.
Hey, Julian, before you go, check out this Halloween costume.
That is awesome.
Speaking of the Zags, this is Garrett Slippy. Go Zags.
That's pretty good.
So adorable.
Even has the stash there as well. This is Michaelin Sweedman, Dino, and Mermaid.
Yeah.
Is that?
Little Dino.
Little Dino.
Yeah, it's hard to see because of the tree behind. It's kind of a
very camouflage, yeah.
One more before we go. I think we have a break coming up here. Yeah, so one more. World's cutest Batgirl. And your mommy loves you. Happy Halloween.
Very tough. Look at the guns. The President and the First Lady held a Halloween gathering today.
And a heated battle in the Supreme Court over affirmative action.
8th graders Abby Williams and Libby German mysteriously vanished. How a secret video they took helped catch their killer.
And this baby didn't just change her mother's life when she was born, she saved it.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Summit Cancer Centers.
You hear stories every single day of people being mugged or shot.
I've been accosted by homeless people and drug addicts.
It is absolutely not safe.
We're lifelong Democrats.
I have voted for Patty Murray many times.
At least 5 times.
But I just can't do it this time.
We're voting for Tiffany Smiley.
Vote Tiffany Smiley.
Tiffany Smiley is the right person for the job.
She gives me hope.
I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
The nonstop sirens. This is why you don't vote for Patty Murray. Never used to be like this.
New tonight on Kimmel, it's a very scary Halloween.
Our kids' school is smart. They've decided no school tomorrow. You want to stuff them full of pixie sticks and keep them up until 10 o'clock? Great, you deal with them the next day.
Plus, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jimmy Kimmel Live, new tonight on ABC.
I'm Chris Jordan. As Assistant Attorney General, my profession is public safety. I'm a union member and 4th-generation Spokaneite running to be your commissioner. I'll target root causes of crime with smart investments. We can boost affordable housing options and childcare and take the politics out of homelessness, working together as a region for real solutions. Let's build a future in Spokane County where working families can thrive. I'd be honored to have your vote.
This time of year, conditions can change drastically in minutes. For weather that extreme, you need the 4 News Now First Alert Weather Team. Online, on the air, and on the app. That's what we mean when we say expect more.
September 7th was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
80% of the town lost their homes.
My family's home burned to the ground.
It was just heartbreaking.
Kathy was there for us.
Not taking political sides.
She's done a lot.
Put her name on the line to help here.
Kathy helped us start the journey to rebuilding.
She went above and beyond.
She genuinely actually cares.
I'm Kathy McMorris-Rogers, and I approve this message.
4 News Now is brought to you by UFCW.
Thanks for staying up with Nightside. A new provider and new approach. That's the city's next plan to tackle homelessness and clear Camp Hope. Starting tomorrow, the Salvation Army will run both the Trent Resource Center and Cannon Shelter. With winter rapidly approaching, the city is scrambling to move people inside and try a new model they learned about while in Texas. It's called a navigation center, but homeless advocates say they're already doing that on site at the camp. They provide meals, clothes, and medical outreach right across the street. The fire department recently gave the tent a permit that allows it to stay up until June of next year. Well, the tent is where numerous local and state service providers are already meeting clients, but it isn't where the city wants the work to happen.
Our definition, or the way we want to use TRAC as a navigation center, is to bring people in from the cold into an indoor space where they have a bed, where they have access to showers and restrooms, where they have 3 meals a day and connection to services indoors during the winter.
Jules Helping Hands says people at the camp have given the Trent shelter a try. Some ended up going back to camp. Julie Garcia doesn't think Trent has the space to house people and connect them to the service providers they need. The city says the building can house everyone and that the help people are getting at Camp Hope, they can also receive at the Trent Resource Center. A federal lawsuit is now being filed against city and county leaders in Spokane to stop a sweep at Camp Hope.
The challengers are 3 groups living at the homeless encampment: Jules Helping Hands and Disability Rights of Washington. The lawsuit asks the judge to keep people at the camp as long as Washington State Department of Transportation allows. They say the city's goal to clear the camp violates the Americans with Disabilities Act. And the lawsuit mentions a large percentage of people with disabilities. They say people who can't perform activities without assistance are there. Assistance they claim can be accessed at the camp. The lawsuit asks the judge to stop anyone from being arrested or removed. City leaders are still looking to remove the camp by November 15th. The president and the first lady held a little Halloween gathering at the White House today. Tonight, around the nation, President and First Lady Jill Biden handed out candy. Of course, they had candy for all the kids of local firefighters, nurses, police officers, and members of the National Guard. How fun. I wonder what kind of candy they gave out.
Maybe it was raisins.
It could have been.
The Supreme Court is questioning whether affirmative action should still apply to college admissions. Justice Clarence Thomas noted that he didn't go to diverse schools and questioned what the educational benefits of diversity are. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson defended affirmative action, saying that race was evaluated as a small part of an application. The Biden administration is urging the court to maintain race-conscious admissions. 9 states already prohibit any consideration of race in admissions to public schools. A decision is expected in late spring.
A breakthrough in the Delphi double murder investigation more than 5 years after 2 young girls disappeared while taking a walk. 8th graders Abby Williams and Libby German mysteriously vanished in February of 2017 in Delphi, about 70 miles north of Indianapolis. Their bodies were found the next day. Police sifted through tons of evidence before finding the suspect, including thousands of tips and a video taken by the 2 girls on the day of their disappearance. This chilling recording thought to be the killer's voice. A man is now in custody in connection with the case. Indiana State Police arrested 50-year-old Richard Allen. Allen is a member of the Delphi community who worked at a local CVS. He is being held without bond and has pleaded not guilty. His trial is set to begin in March.
If it is not raining at your house yet, it likely will be very, very soon. Rain is likely overnight tonight. Wind gusts this evening, but those winds will be tapering off overnight. 37 for a low. Tomorrow, a high of only 43, a 10-degree drop from today with rain showers most of the day. Our best chance to get some breaks will be in the afternoon between 2 and 4 when our chance of precipitation goes down to about 40%. It is high to start the day and then right about 60 through the afternoon. Here's a look at our forecast radar, starting off our current time with the rain to our south, and that works its way north through the overnight. See a lot of blue on here. We'll have some snow in the mountains. The snow level fairly high in terms of accumulating snow, around 4,000 feet. That rain will continue through about noon tomorrow, and then we'll start to see a little bit of a drying trend. 6 o'clock in the evening, still a chance of showers. About the time we'd see some valley snow developing, we begin to dry out by Wednesday morning. That said, I would not be surprised if you see a little snow on the grassy surfaces when you wake up Wednesday morning or before you go to bed Tuesday night. Overnight lows tonight will be down in the 30s and 40s in most locations, few 20s on the map. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the 40s and 50s. Your planning forecast, we've got that wet weather, little bit of a rain-snow mix possible on Wednesday, but the more I look at it, the more it looks like most of the day will be dry. Dry on Thursday, and then we have a major system coming in for Friday night into Saturday, bringing the potential of some damaging winds and some accumulating snow, 50+ mile-per-hour winds. We want to alert you about that now as the details of that system come closer into view. We will be talking a lot about it this week, and I'll have more in just a few minutes on what we might expect. Kirsten?
Chris, thank you. Still to come on Nightside, how Gen Zers helped save Halloween this year. And speaking of Halloween, our director Riley dressed up as this Teletubby. Do you recognize him? That is Tinky Winky. But if you look at his tummy, there's someone else.
Yeah, he's watching the news, as everybody should. Tinky Winky is setting a great example. Watching 4 News Now. We'll be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you. There's a clear choice for Senate. While Tiffany Smiley stood with Mitch McConnell and the big drug companies to oppose lowering the cost of prescription drugs, Patty Murray is busy working for us.
I worked with Democrats and Republicans to ban surprise medical bills, and I led the fight to pass legislation to lower the cost of prescription drugs, including capping insulin at $35 a month. I'm Patty Murray. I approve this message to focus on what really matters, you.
It says here, United Healthcare has America's most chosen Medicare plans and local Medicare plan experts.
They'll even find you a plan with good dental coverage.
How do you know?
Scott, my local Medicare plan expert. He helped me find the right plan.
With benefits including prescription, drug, vision, and dental coverage, our Washington team is ready to help you find a Medicare plan that meets your needs and budget.
Talk to a local Medicare plan expert today at 1-888-SHOP-UHC.
I have a little bit of savings, but I depend on Social Security and Medicare. I'm alarmed to read that Tiffany Smiley supports a plan that could virtually, in all respects, end Social Security and Medicare in 5 years. Then she'd make Congress fight about whether to create those programs all over again. It's a nightmare. Tiffany Smiley, I earned my Social Security and Medicare. I will not let you take them away.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
4 News Now is brought to you by Coeur d'Alene Casino Resort Hotel.
Thanks for staying up with Nightside. When she was born, a little baby didn't just change her mother's life, she saved it. 1-year-old Tatum Rabideau was born on Mother's Day in 2021, and weeks later, when Tatum would not latch for breastfeeding, her mother Ellen started to worry. A closer look revealed Ellen had stage 3 inflammatory breast cancer.
I had a clean mammogram in February, but they do think this may have started growing while I was pregnant. And so I really think that her coming early was the start of getting this ball rolling.
Well, now Ellen is in remission, something that seemed impossible after losing both of her maternal aunts to breast cancer when they were in their 40s. Ellen has the same doctors, and she says the ability to rewrite the story of her family makes her feel really lucky.
From the First Alert Forecast Center, we are watching Friday and Saturday for a cold front that will arrive Friday evening. This looks like it could be a significant storm on the way with strong, potentially damaging winds, power lines down, as well as some tree damage. 50-mile-per-hour or higher gusts possible with this storm. It's still several days away, but we want to let you know now, since these November windstorms storms in the inland northwest can be quite damaging. Your temperature trend over the next 7 days, we're going to be below average for the next 3. This white line is average down in the 40s. We're up a little bit. Then that cold front comes through and we are down in the 30s by Monday. And it looks like we're going to stay with below average temperatures through the extended forecast, November 8th through the 14th. Below average temperatures, above average precipitation. This time of year, that typically equates to some snow, especially in the mountains. We're going to be crossing our fingers for an early start to the ski season, but also I would suggest getting in and get those winter tires on, because we're going to have some challenging driving as early as next week. Pick of the night tonight, a beautiful one from a good friend of ours here at 4 News Now, James Richmond. He provides most of the photography that you see behind our forecast graphics. He captured this image in the Wanneroo area. Beautiful fall scene with some Canada geese and bright red trees. Aaron?
That is pretty. Thank you, Chris. The National Retail Federation says participation in spending this Halloween is expected to return to pre-pandemic levels, and Gen Z is leading the charge. Spending is predicted to reach a record $10.6 billion. Well, now that COVID-related restrictions are easing, Gen Z is more comfortable partying, going on bar crawls, and attending parties.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Andy's Heating and Cooling.
With so much on the line, the stakes couldn't be higher. ABC News Election Night. Who will control Congress? What will it mean for his agenda and deciding our next president? What will it mean for you? ABC News with breaking reports from all across the country. It all comes down to this. Your voice, your vote. ABC News Election Night. Starting at 8 Eastern as the polls close.
They keep us safe, put their lives on the line every day. Yet radicals want to defund the police and give criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards. That's the last thing we need. Law enforcement has a champion. Kathy McMorris Rogers. Kathy says no to defunding the police and voted to secure more funding for local police departments. Endorsed by police and sheriffs, Kathy backs the blue and they back her.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
Here we grow again. Even more fun is headed to Spokane Tribe Casino. You love Caesar Sportsbook, the Grill and Bar, and larger variety of games we recently added. Gear up for a new food court, a completely smoke-free gaming area, a state-of-the-art entertainment venue, and more. Things just keep getting better. Play the free play Football Frenzy kiosk game Saturdays and Sundays, and you'll win a guaranteed prize of free slot play every play. Only at Spokane Tribe Casino. You just win here.
In America, we have a pressure from every quarter trying to destroy the opportunity for people to be able to build their own futures. We see an economy that has gone from the strongest economy that we have seen to one in which we have raging inflation. Our borders must be protected. We are seeing unprecedented entry, 2 million illegal entries, with the drugs and the violence that comes with it. I'm going to fight to make sure that we stop those problems. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message.
I'm not a big dress-up guy myself, so I got like a scream mask that I like to use and scare people with, so I might just go the easy way.
If you were trick-or-treating in Pullman tonight and saw someone in a scream mask, don't worry, it might have been Coach Dicker. Thanks for tuning in to Sports. I'm Julian Minnesota. Actually, the scariest thing that happened to Washington State over the Halloween weekend wasn't Dickert's costume choice. It was Wazoo's loss to Utah on Thursday. Now the Cougs have to win at least 2 of their final 4 games to qualify for a bowl game. It starts Saturday against Stanford. Washington State has won 5 straight games against the Cardinal dating back to 2016. The Cougars had no trouble scoring in any of those games, but the big concern is if this year's team can do the same. Head coach Jake Dickert said no one magical is walking through that door to help this struggling offense. The Cougs are going with the guys they have, and there is a lot of work to do.
Have we fallen short of what we're capable of? Yes. Okay, but we're not going to panic. Okay, we're going to keep believing. We're going to stay the course. We're going to keep finding pieces, and we're going to maximize the capabilities of what this team can do. Okay, and I think that's where we're at.
Dickert didn't give an update if Wazoo running back Jalen Jenkins and safety Jordan Lee would play this weekend. Both were injured during Thursday's game against Utah. Washington State is already without starting running back Nakia Watson. Dickert says they'll have to do a run game by committee if Jenkins can't go.
I mean, you might see Lincoln, you might see Strib, you might see Rob, you might see, who else we got? Orion, we might see Anderson Grover, you might see anybody out there. You know, now the wild part is Stanford's onto their 6th running back, too. I mean, they've had both positions on both teams have been, you know, in tough positions, right? So there's no excuses. You know, whoever we put back there and however we shape it, they got to be ready to go.
A lot of names there. Kickoff between Washington State and Stanford set for 12:30 Saturday from Stanford. And looking ahead, Washington State announced a 12:30 start time for next week's matchup against Arizona State. It's the Cougs' second-to-last home game. It's also family weekend at Washington State. Should be fun. Now, one of the biggest college football programs in the country decided to make a change, and it impacts former coaches from our area. Auburn fired head coach Brian Harsin and other staff members after less than 2 seasons with the program. Current Auburn and former Eastern Washington defensive coordinator Jeff Schmedding is one of the coaches who was reportedly not let go. Schmedding spent 15 seasons at Eastern Washington. He helped lead the Eagles to their first FCS championship in 2010. Eastern Washington also made the FCS championship game during Schmedding's final season with the program in 2018. We will continue to monitor this story and update you on any changes. As for the current Eastern Washington Eagles, they'll take on number 15 Idaho at the Kibbe Dome on Saturday. Kickoff is set for noon, and we'll have team coverage right here on 4 News Now. And former Gonzaga forward Corey Kispert will have to wait a little longer to make his NBA season debut. The former Bulldog and current Washington Wizard sat out of tonight's game due to an ankle sprain he suffered during the preseason. Reports say Kispert's return is imminent. He's been slowly getting back into game shape. Kispert averaged 8 points a game during his rookie season last year. Kispert's Wizards lost only by 7 points to the Philadelphia 76ers, so who knows, Kispert could have made the difference if he was playing. And that'll wrap us up for sports.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
There are many different ways that Numerica gives back. Financial education is my way of giving back to the community by being able to help members in branch and getting the opportunity to go out into schools and teach kids about how to put themselves in a better position financially.
Home. It's both a place and a feeling. At yours, you strive to make new memories, create traditions, share stories, find the fun, embrace the surprises, and celebrate moments big and small. Memories are made at home, in every room, in every moment. Make your house feel like home at the Tin Roof.
Spokane and North Idaho's country leader.
It goes like one margarita. Bluebird in my heart. Baby, you're playing hard to forget.
The big 99.9 Coyote Country.
Create a home retreat with a beautiful hot tub or swim spa from Country Homes Power, your spa superstore, offering great discounts, special financing, all with professional delivery. It's time to relax during the Country Homes Power 75th anniversary sale.
I'm sorry, sir. You forgot this.
Wait, you...
Customer service.
Your employees work hard for you. Give them a health plan that works harder for them. From Primera Blue Cross, with more options to fit your business needs and budget. Because your employees depend on it. Find your plan at business.primera.com.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
Cold November rain tomorrow, high temperature of 43.
That is cold. But you nailed it, Chris. I did not get rained on.
Oh, good.
Chris warned me.
Yes.
I was in just the right spot. And look at this little unicorn. I bet she didn't get any rain either. She looks happy. Michelle Fisher sent that in. It said llama drama.
Llama drama. I just like saying llama drama. All right, kids, I'm off to space camp.
Oh, yeah.